Asian nation 100%.
Look at this!
It's love at first bite.
Oh my God!
A delicious new combo.
Wow.
With Best in Chow.
Just takes the cake.
Followed by deliciously twisted classics.
Delicious!
It's the perfect pairing to please your palate.
Woohoo!
Best in Chow and deliciously twisted classics.
Digicel TV, home of Rugby League. Dial *515# to subscribe.
Hello and thanks for joining us for the midday news. David Manning, now suspended as Commissioner of Police as of yesterday's NEC announcement, in a press conference prior to his suspension announcement, said the RPNGC has established new approaches to deal with the riot on Wednesday. He said the first approach is to bring back normalcy, and the other is to establish an investigative unit to investigate the root cause of the problem. Manning added that police officers involved in the riot will be held accountable for their actions. However, with a state of emergency now in place, new directions to respond to the issue are imminent. The terms of reference for the SOE will announce in a press conference with the Prime Minister and Acting Commissioner for Police, Donald Yamasombi, who is also SOE Controller. The PNG fire station has attended to about 13 fire flames during the riot in Port Moresby on Wednesday. Chief of Fire PNG Bill Rue said most of these fires were shops. Rue said investigations are currently underway to compile the statistics of the damages lost, which a report will be sent to the business houses whom will use to account for the damage lost. He said this during the Commissioner of Police press conference at the police headquarters in Port Moresby yesterday.
More than 13 fires. Most of them were soaps. We couldn't be able to contain fires to contain. We just only got fires to contain them, and then from one fire to another, we are moving all our fire trucks here and there. The damage has not been. We have never, done any investigations yet. So, as the commissioner said, we'll be doing that to compile other reports.
Crowd build-up at Erikule this morning made shops nervous. Anderson's staff are feeling unsafe despite the posting of Royal PNG Constabulary and PNG Defence Force personnel outside. While directors are yet to make a decision whether to open or remain closed, staff are feeling uneasy as the crowd outnumbers law enforcers. Staff said they have received information of settlers planning to loot Anderson's. They are in discussion with management to keep their doors closed today. Papindo and Raumai 18 are also closed. The latter tried opening its doors earlier but quickly shut its doors when it noted the large number of people in waiting to get in. Shops in Toptown have also remained closed. Nearly 100 climate protesters are confronting a Newcastle court over a 30-hour blockade of the world's largest coal port in November last year. Group Rising Tide had organized the protest, which used kayaks and floats to obstruct the waterway. More than 100 people were arrested and charged.
The first cohort of 99 protesters that took part in a blockade of the Port of Newcastle in November last year have been dealt with in Newcastle local court this morning. They'd all been charged with using a vessel to obstruct a waterway, but all of their matters this morning had been dismissed. No convictions were recorded and there were no fines issued either. The magistrate, Stephen Olischlager, noted that all of the matters this morning, the people were all of good character and had done a lot of work volunteering in their communities. He said that the protest action was not selfish and that they had acted out of concern for climate change. There were students aged from 20 years old up to aged pensioners aged in their 80s who fronted court this morning. We spoke to some of them outside after the proceedings, including Bryce Ham, a 20-year-old local student.
It's a great mood. This is the biggest civil disobedience action for climate justice in Australia's history. There's 99 people here today in court, and we all strongly feel a sense of comradeship for taking this action to call on the federal government to stop approving new coal mines and to limit the coal exports from the Port of Newcastle.
It's been a long day in court getting through 99 matters to do with this blockade.
It seemed like the rains would never come to the top end, but the heavens have finally opened as a monsoon forms across the region. The system could also see a chance of a cyclone for the Kimberley, West Daly and Catherine regions this weekend, barely a year after those areas were decimated by flooding and wild weather.
The monsoonal rains have finally arrived in the top-end capital.
It's great to see the rains arriving.
Praise the Lord, we're having rain.
About a month after I got here, I donated all my jumpers and tracksuits because I realised I didn't need them and bought all summer wear. So it looks like I might have to get a few more things.
The welcome wet weather comes with a warning, a moderate chance of a cyclone this weekend as a tropical low develops over the Joseph Bonaparte Gulf and heads east from the Kimberley towards the West Daly, Catherine and rural areas south of Darwin. It was just last year that the Kimberley and West Daly regions were inundated, with residents evacuated and towns cut off. Authorities now preparing people to be alert but not alarmed.
Take a moment to really think about what their preparedness measures are, their emergency kit, having sufficient food and water available in the household, rather than waiting till the last minute.
Already, the Bureau of Meteorology is saying the weather could deliver bursts of up to 100 millimetres of rain, but exactly where will be hit hardest is still unknown.
We've just really got to be alert, so depending, it may go south, it may go east, it may go west, so at this stage we're keeping a very close eye on it.
Elsewhere, another tropical low is moving over the Gulf of Carpentaria, covering Queensland and moving west towards Groote Eylandt and Borroloola, with a low chance it will develop into a cyclone in the coming days.
But at this stage, we think the one to the west of the top end is the most likely one to develop.
What is likely is plenty of rain across the north, so it's best to pack an umbrella.
After defeating Philippines 55-36 in the opening match of the Four Nations netball tournament in Hong Kong, the PNG Peppers went one better by defeating Hong Kong 60 points to 36 in the second match of the tournament. The Peppers gave everything in the contest. Hong Kong's home advantage was not enough to carry them. In Game 1, the PNG Peppers filled in a mixed team of young and experienced players, and they did well in their first game against the Philippines. The Peppers junior players Mary Leka, Susan Makara, and Kailani Brazier justified their selection. Senior players like skipper Japeth Tulapi, Roy Navelle, and Michaela Kedlesek led the charge, showing them how it is done at the international stage. While they expected a more competitive challenge against Hong Kong, it wasn't so. Their final match is today against Brunei. In her supporting farewell message, former rugby player, administrator and strong women's sports activist in PNG, Cybele Sailosi, picked her moment to challenge and motivate the girls when she reflected back on how far women's rugby has come and the struggles and sacrifices they have to embrace in the process of forming women's rugby in the country. Cybele was at the forefront of the movement to introduce the sport for women. She organized the Women Rugby Union, uniting over 300 women to make it happen.
the Ragianas was the first team in 2009, was the first team to win the bowl at the Hong Kong Sevens. And I'm proud to say I was part of that, playing in that team as well too. All of those girls are not here, all those girls. We didn't have Joanne Logona, we did not have Fatima Rama, we did not have Naomi Kelly. We just had a group of Papua New Guinean girls who were ready to put their bodies on the line for the country. We were not there to show off or one end. We were there because we wanted to make a statement.
And that ends Midday News. More to come at 6. Bye now.